Hello, investors. Well, this week I looked at 117 companies from the food processing, retail, wholesale, beverage, foreign electronics, tobacco, education, entertainment, and reinsurance industries. Only 17 made our list. Come on, let's go swimming with the sharks and see who's in there. Please don't forget, if you like what we're doing here, hit that like and subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell so you don't miss a single episode, and tell all your friends so they can join in the conversation. If you're new to the channel or you just need a quick refresher, here's what I'm looking for. 17 years of increasing cash flow per share. I allow one negative or flat year. 17 years of increasing earnings per share. Again, one flat or negative year. And 17 years of increasing dividends per share. One flat year is allowed. Meet any one of these criteria and you're on the list. We are diving right in with Flour Food Incorporated, ticker FLO. Their dividend yield is 3.3%. That's filled with gold because it's greater than the 2.6% that I use as a benchmark. That's on $23.49 effective 19 July 2019. All right, we can see that they are not qualified for cash flow per share or earnings per share, but they are a Div 0. 17 years of increasing dividends per share. Here is their long-term trend. So you can see they're all on an upward track there, looking pretty good. And here is the year-to-year changes. All right, next up is General Mills. General Mills is new to the list this time around. Their yield is 4.8%. That is not bad. That's on $53.31. Now, they are not qualified as a cash flow, but they are qualified as earnings per share 1. So that means they had 17 years of increasing dividends per share, with the exception of this one negative year here in 04 to 05. They're not qualified for dividends, but you can see that once we go into the next year's window, they're going to become a D1, so they'll be qualified on two areas, assuming they keep up with their track record. All right, well, here's General Mills' long-term trend. So there are some upward slopes on those. That's what we're looking for. Relatively smooth, not too bad there. And here's their year-to-year change. So you can see right here that one negative year that they had for the earnings, but we're above the line, and the gold bars for dividends are all above the line, with the exception of that 0 year up here, and that'll go away next time around. All right, Hershey's, the chocolate company. HSY, their yield is 2.1%, and that's on $138.62. Hershey is not qualified for cash flow or earnings per share, but they are qualified as a Div 1. Here's Hershey's long-term trends. You can see they had a little issue over here in 07, 08, and then they've been picking up strong ever since. And here's the year-to-year trends. All right, Ingredient Incorporated, INGR, their yield is 3.2%, and that's on $82.46. You may not qualified for cash flow or earnings, but they are a Div 1. They had one flat year here in the 09 to 10 time frame. Here's their long-term trend. Wow, that's kind of bouncing all over the place. That should make folks a little bit nervous. And here's the year-to-year trend. All right, Kellogg's, ticker K, they're at 4.2%. That's a good, healthy yield. And that's on $54.85. Not qualified for cash flow or earnings per share, but they are a Div 1. And that'll go away next year, and they'll become a Div 0. So this is a potentially good income play for those of you looking for some food products to get into your income portfolio. Here is their long-term trend. Nice smooth dividend line there. And here's the year-to-year changes. Lancaster Colony, LANC, Their yield is only 1.8%, but that's on $147.89. Not qualified for cash flow or earnings, but they are a Div 0. Interesting trend with these folks, huh? And here's their long-term trend, kind of bouncing around a bit there. But the dividend curve is nice and smooth. And here's the year-to-year changes. All right, McCormick and Company, these are the spice folks. I know you've seen their logos in the spice aisle. Their yield is only 1.5% on $158.07, but holy cow, look at this. They are qualified in every category. Cash flow 0, earnings 0, Div 0. So these folks can hit a number of marks, probably not the income mark, but there's some other probabilities for why you want to have them in your portfolio. Now here's what their long-term trend line looks like. Man, can that get any smoother on an upward trend? And here is the year-to-year change. Sensient Technology SXT, their yield is 2% on $72.97. They are not qualified for cash flow or earnings per share, but they are a Div 1. Here's their long-term trends, kind of a little bit bouncy there, but generally upward. And the dividend's relatively smooth. Here's the year-to-year change. Smucker's, J.M. Smucker Company, SJM. Their yield is 2.9%. That's on $118.71. And you can see that they are, oops, sorry about that, not qualified for cash flow earnings, but they are a Div 0. J.M. Smuckers. Here's their long-term trend. Had a couple of hits in here, but generally upward trend, smooth. Here's the year-to-year. All right, and finally on the food list, before we go into the other categories, USANA Health, ticker USNA. They do not pay a dividend. They're on $60.03 a share. And they are not qualified in anything. So why are they here? Because they used to be qualified, and they are coming off the list. All right, we're changing markets now. We're in retail wholesale. We start out with Casey's General Store, CASY. Their yield is a paltry 0.8% on $157.65. They're qualified as a cash flow 1. You can see where they had their trouble right here. Let's open that up so you can see those numbers. Right there from 15 to 16 they dropped. They're not qualified for earnings, but they are a Div 0. 17 years of increasing dividends per share. But hey, when you're only paying 0.8%, that can't be that hard to do. All right, here's the long-term trend and the year-to-year change. All right, we're changing again now. I'm sorry, we're not changing markets. We're changing the way the company does business. Cisco, these folks deliver products. You've seen their trucks all over the road, I'm sure. SYY, 2.2%, and that's on $71.49. Not qualified for cash flow or earnings per share, but they are a Div 0. 17 years of increasing dividends per share. Pretty good business model there, but the dividend yield is not anything to really write home about. All right, there's the long-term trend. And here is the year-to-year change. Okay, next industry is the beverage industry. We're starting out with Brown-Forman, BFB. These folks are in the alcohol business. Their yield is 1.2% on $56.04. Not qualified for cash flow or earnings per share, but they are a Div 0. What do you think? Does this qualify as a sin stock? All right, here's their long-term trend. And here is the year-to-year change. The next one is a beverage company we all know, Coca-Cola. Ticker KO, by the way, that's filled with green because I own shares in Coca-Cola. Just want to be upfront with everybody. Their yield is 3.1%, and that's on a share price of $51.59. Coca-Cola is not qualified for cash flow or earnings per share, but they are a Div 0. 17 years of increasing dividends per share. Over the long haul, it's actually been longer than that. Now here's their long-term trend. You can see they kind of had a little bit of trouble here, but they're picking back up again, and their dividend has been on a nice steady uprise. Here is the year-to-year change. Well, of course, you know, if Coke's on the list, then Pepsi's going to be on the list. PepsiCo, PEP, 2.9%, so not as high a yield as Coca-Cola, but that's on $131.74 a share. Not qualified for cash flow or earnings per share, but they are a Div 0, just like Coke, 17 years of increasing dividends per share. Now here's what their long-term trend looks like, maybe even a little better than Coke here. So it's hard to say. Is this an income play? Is this some other kind of play for you? Would you pick between Coke or Pepsi, or would you split the difference to get some of each? All right. Now we're going into tobacco. Had a conversation just about a week or so ago with some folks that I know in the world of tobacco. Universal Corporation is the only one of the tobacco companies that is on our list. Their yield is 5.1%, and that's on a valid price of $59.45. They're not qualified for cash flow or earnings, but they are a Div 0. Now, something to think about. You've got, in the tobacco industry, you've got Altria, British American Tobacco, Philip Morris, Schweitzer, and Turning Point brands. You got to ask yourself if Altria, with their expansion into a broader market area, is the potential play here. And not, they're not on the list, but maybe they're a potential play. Maybe later on in the week I'll post another video and compare the two. Here's the long-term trend. Wow, all over the place, bouncing around, not really going up that we can really see. It's kind of flat there. Their dividend is definitely going up, but maybe they're just trying to capture people with the dividend. And here is the year-to-year change. All right, now we've got Renaissance Reinsurance. I don't get too excited about reinsurance companies. Maybe you do. Their yield is only 0.7% on $184.73. They're not qualified for dividends because they don't really pay much. I'm sorry, they're not qualified for cash flow because they don't report cash flow the way other companies do. So it doesn't show up as on our list for monitoring. They are not qualified for earnings per year and their dividends as a Div 0, but still they're not paying that much on a dividend, so does it really matter much that they're a Div 0? And look at that, boy howdy, they're all over the place. And there's the long term. I mean the year-to-year change. Well, I'm having a hard time with these guys. All right, so let's rack and stack, see how they all look to each other. Up here in the food group, so here's all your food companies. You can see that we've got some that are paying pretty good interest here. General Mills, Kellogg. By the way, that should just be a K, not a K-O. I don't know how that O got on there. Let's fix that right away. There we go. All right. Kellogg's and General Mills are up there in the 4+, so these two are probably some possibilities. And if you look at Kellogg, they're qualified because of their dividend payment, so maybe that's your play. Although General Mills will be qualified, assuming that they keep it together, they'll be qualified for dividends and earnings next year. In the beverage world, we've got Brown-Forman, Coke, Pepsi. Right here you got the battle between Coke and Pepsi. Which way you want to go there? I'm a Coke person, but then again I just like to drink Coke too. So Pepsi's all over the place, as you know, with beverages and snack foods and things. So in your mind they may be a stronger company for the long haul. In the tobacco world, Universal and like I said, they got a good dividend, but they were all over the place on their earnings. So, and are they going to stay in the game? A lot of pressure on tobacco these days. All right, well, I hope you all enjoyed it. It was a back to basics kind of week here. Went through a lot of companies and talked about a lot of different perspectives on them. I'd love to hear what you all have to say. Please leave your comments down below in the comments section. Let me know if you own any of these folks and why, or if you don't think they're so good, why not. If I missed a company that you think should be on the list, please drop me a line. We'll take a look, see if we can figure out why they didn't make the list. Y'all have a good week, and we'll see you again in a week or sooner.